What's going on, people? It's your man the YB. Once again, big shout out to my dog Martin Skirsis for coming through and loosening up the coin. So we got some breaking news ain't no one heard before. Right now, the unwashed leaked, okay? Minimus duquitius, no goodius. That's nuts, man. Now this big stiff idiot here, man. Oh, listen, man, he's doing better than me. He's got 30 milli. Yeah, and got untold amounts of Brazilian brass as well. So they're fair play to him, man. Obviously, the fact he's useless at boxing, yeah, it don't mean he ain't winning in life. But we have to call a spade here. Yeah, he's winning it. There's no doubt Dubois won in life, no doubt. But he can't box with toffee. That's just what it is, man. He won in life. He's useless and stiff at boxing. Anyway, Dubois come out and announced, as most of us expected, he's sacked off Don Charles. Yeah, here we go. Here's the bars from Daniel Dubois. I want to take this moment to thank Don Charles. That's the first time I've heard him say that on his way after handing him his, what is it, his P45 or his P60. That's the first thank you I've heard. I'm going to be honest right now. That's what I'm going to do. But he says, nonetheless, better late than never. I want to take this moment to thank Don Charles and his team for all the time, effort and hard work they've put into me over the past 18 months. I thought it's been longer than that. He fought Usyk in, I'm sure it was August 23. So I think it's more like 2.5 years, but whatever. They've put into me over the past 18 months. I'm truly grateful for everything. That said, I feel it's time for a change, a fresh approach for the next phase of my career as I push forward to become a 2 times heavyweight champion of the world. God bless. I'll be making a further announcement regarding my new team structure very soon. Now, before I even get to my bars, I want to play this video here. I don't know where these industry men get their script from, but they seem to have a script because they all start parroting the same bars for some reason. Is it possible they all think the same? Maybe. But here, let's get to the plants. Let's see what the industry plants have got to say about this right quick. I couldn't believe it, honestly. Here we go.
Might work, but I think it's just about trying to freshen things up, you know, and it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Boys?
I think Don Charles was good for him, by the way.
So do I.
And I think
Don Charles was the absolute perfect fit for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Worked the Oracle for him, didn't he?
Yeah,
it's not just Don Charles, is it?
Yeah.
That's what we have to understand.
But
he
he knows the kid inside out.
Yeah.
He knows how he works. He knows all the mechanics behind that kid and how to motivate and get the best out of him. We've seen it. And to get rid of him now at this point, I think it's a bad move.
I agree with you.
I think anyone that's going to work with Dubois, obviously no secret. I don't know his dad. I've never met his dad, but it's obviously no secret.
All right, so you got the gist there. Yeah, Paul Smith, something Paul. Paul goes on talking about his dad, but listen, naffle that. The bottom line is, in fact, let me get to Ade as well. Ade Olashilpo, he came out and said something similar. He said, wow, in reaction to the news. Wow, you lose to one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Oh, come on, man. These men, this is the thing. Yeah? I'm all over the place here, but we'll get back to the point in a minute. Bear with me here. And if you don't, you know what? If you don't like it, if you don't like where I'm going with this, go somewhere else, man. I'm doing what I'm fixing to do. Yeah? That's what I'm doing right now. So if you don't like it, if you came here to hear about Dubois, go somewhere else for a minute. And don't come back either. So I've got something else to say. Yeah? Okay? The TalkSport homosexuals, the plants, they're all like, oh no, I swear down. Oh no, Usyk, yeah, no, the time I get smoked by Usyk right now. Oh no. Listen, you can say YB, well you get it wrong. Listen, man, yeah, everyone's sucking Usyk off. Oh, but he's earned it. This is the next narrative coming as well from Usyk. I've got videos coming on this soon. Yeah. Oh, swear down, I heard the industry plants today saying, the same way you just heard them there, sucking Don Charles off. I heard them saying, oh, Usyk's earned the right. He's earned the right to do what he wants. What the fuck? Simon Jordan was the same one bashing Tyson Fury for playing around. No, I don't give a fuck who he is. I don't care what war's going on. I don't care about nothing else, man. Drop the belts and move on. Back to Portugal, man. Yeah, back to your villa in Portugal. That's what you need to go. Don't be doing that. Oh, he's earned it. You can never earn it. You can never earn hanging around with belts. Never. Not one person ever. It's not right. There's a bunch of other men right now. It's not even like the era's a bit dead and it's like, well, whatever. Literally, there's a whole bag of man fixing to eat. Parker, Caballel, Italma, to name a few. But there's young, hungry dudes right now. And the division really, it's been a lot weaker. I think the AJ and Fury era was a lot weaker. There was basically 3 guys and that's it. Wilder, Fury, AJ, and they barely fought ever. Now we have a much healthier. The star power isn't necessarily there yet, but it's a much healthier division when you think about the likes of, well, again, Italma, Caballel. Even you throw people like Dubois in there, for example. There wasn't no Dubois knocking around when Fury AJ now. It was like you had the A level and then it was like D level. Yeah, that's really what it was like. Luis Ortiz would be someone you consider a bit like a Dubois, but the point is that was like one guy. Now you've got the Hergoviches and the Bacolis. I think there's a few other ones in there that I forgot about. Anyway, I've digressed there. But they all seem to get these narratives and then they all parrot it. And I normally like Duke McKenzie. He's actually one of the guys I look for to listen to. But, back to this Dubois news now. And even Duke was, no one beats Usyk right now. Again, maybe I'm wrong, man. But listen, yeah. What I like about the Ukrainians are, you'd never hear a Ukrainian ever say, oh, this guy's going to beat my guy. But these UK cats, yeah, they all suck off next man. They got no loyalty, man. Yeah? They got no loyalty. Oh, I'll just suck the Ukrainian fans come out for Ukraine. Fair play to them, I salute that. But all the British plants, they're all sucking the Ukraine. I'm like, what the fuck? You'd never get that. Even if Usyk was a middle-level fighter, yeah, you'd never have Ukrainian fans coming out and sucking AJ off, for example. You'd never get it, ever. And rightfully so, in my opinion. Rightfully so. So we back in the light-skinned prophet right now. Yeah? Born and bred, that's what he done. Born and bred. On a farm in Kent. That's what we're doing. So don't play with me, man. Because these industry, man, they wrong, they wicked. Yeah? They wicked with it. Oh, no one beats him. No one beats him. But Tam will have a go. How about that? He'll have a go. And he'll be the quickest guy to have a go as well. Will he run out of gas? Will he have no chin? We'll have to find out. But these men are too slow and stiff, man. Honestly. They're so slow. They're so slow, man. They're so slow. It's like, come on. You can't hit someone if you're too slow. If your feet are slow and your hands are slow, you can't hit someone. That is what Usyk has shown. Being big and stiff, it don't really work too tough. Yeah? So let's get someone in there. Some cat in the comments said, oh, IB. Oh, IB. Woody woo woo. Oh. Yeah, Usyk spent his career in the best cruiserweight division so he can deal with speed. None of them cruiserweight. I can't even remember any of their names. Bradis. But again, I wouldn't say, I don't watch Bradis and think, whoa, he's quick. Whoa, he's powerful. I think Bradis is a good workhorse. Yeah. I wouldn't look at Bradis and say he's got pound for pound skills anywhere. If you thought about it in a FIFA scoring type thing, a computer game, you wouldn't say, yes, he's got pound for pound this or that. He's a good, solid kind of workhorse type fighter. He's got nothing. There's no Italma though. You look at him and he's got 90 plus speed. Yeah, 90 plus in and outness, fourth dimensional abilities. And he's young and he'll be ambitious, unlike Fury and AJ who've made their money and whatever else. But anyway, we've got off topic here, man. I was just pointing out that they all seem to spout the same rubbish when they handed their script. Yeah, by Andy Goldstein. He's come on, man. Andy Gold. I don't know, man. Allegedly, Andy Goldstein. He give them man the script from Talk Sport, man. Yeah, and don't at me either. He be I can tell you right now who handling them, man. Is Andy Goldstein, allegedly, man. He handling all these cats their script, man. And if they mess around, yeah, they'll be getting their P45 as well. Andy Goldstein ain't playing with the Talk Sport plant asses. That's what he's not doing, man. Anyway, let's get back to it, man. Okay, so all the plants, they're sucking off. Don Charles is the best ever, people. I said this before the fight. Yeah, yes, I lost money on Dubois. Fair enough. That was more of a spiritual thing. That was more of a, okay, I'm backing the British Mandinga to get in there. Yeah, I'm not going to be waving no Ukrainian flag. Sorry. You other man can do that. I'm not doing it, man. I'm not doing it. That's for you, man. Fair play, each their own. That the same way you man like waving that flag, I'm waving. This flag, that's what I'm waving. How about that? Oops. That's what I'm fixing to wave. I ain't waving over a flag. That's what I'm not doing. Do you understand? Yeah? What was my point? Okay, I was mentioning before the Usyk fight. Yes, I got caught up in the hype. Yes, I was backing the British Mandinga. They're all fair accusations to make. However, I did say, I'm not seeing no changes. Yeah? He's gappy. He's like, do. He was doing body bag work with Don Charles. And the body bag is just standing there and Dubois whacking it. I'm thinking, okay, it's good for cardio conditioning, but it's not realistic. I mentioned in my Patreon video, I said that Don Charles should have brought in, I don't know, some 147 pounder, someone like Keith Thurman, I don't know, for example. I'm sure you could find one. Listen, my point was, you bring in someone who's small and fleet-footed, put them in a bodysuit, and get them to run around. Yeah? And Dubois needs to be stalking them with some intelligent moving and, you know what I mean, catching and whatnot. Dubois standing there, whacking the body bag. Like, Usyk's not going to be standing there like that. You're going to have to go get him. Yeah? You're going to have to press him. Head down, hands are stuck on your head. That's because Dubois not going to be doing all the slipping and sliding, so you just put your hands here, and you're still going to take some shots. But if your chin's down and your hands in close, how many people really get knocked out when they're like in their shell? I've seen in a smaller weight division. The best example of this recently would be Matthias. Matthias fought someone, and he came right at them with his head down and in his hands. Well, his hands weren't even that high, but he was kind of rolling with it. That's what you have to do if you're big and stiff. Now, someone like Moses, I don't think he needs to be put his chin down and his hands up. He's got the speed and he's got the reactions where he might be able to make something happen based on that. But these big stiff heavyweights, like AJ, like Fury was never going to do it, but particularly AJ, Caballero, Dubois, they're not going to be able to, they haven't got speed like that, so they're going to have to get on top of him and try and outwork him. A bit like, to some extent, Bradis, people say that fight was close. I had Usyk winning it quite handily. I watched that back in the last few months. I didn't think it was that close, but part of the reason that was close from Bradis was the fact he was trying to get on Usyk and make something happen. That's the blueprint for big, stiff, slow heavyweights, end of the day. And in fact, on that note, just quickly, I was thinking about, people say, Talma's not ready, Talma's not ready. Talma could do a similar performance, but to a much higher level, as Tony Bellew did. Yeah, Tony Bellew was in that fight, and Tony Bellew does not have blistering speed and blistering power and blistering youth. Bellew went up to heavyweight and came back down. We know coming back down in weight and all that, it's not good for you. So that sets the scene. Usyk was getting, I don't think people were saying Tony Bellew. I think Tony Bellew was up on the cards, but the fight, I think it was fair rounds. Up to 6, I think it was about 3-3. So if Tony Bellew can be competitive and he's not the quickest, his feet ain't all that. Tony Bellew's got a solid boxing IQ, but I wouldn't say he's ever been pound for pound skilled like that. And he was able to compete, and that was arguably a prime Usyk. In fact, it was. That was probably one of the better Usyks. So that sets the scene that the Talma might be able to do some. Anyway, that's another conversation. As far as Dubois is concerned, I vehemently disagree. Yeah. Don Charles, I'm pretty sure, well, they were together, for fact. That's why Don Charles was whining about it. It was August 2023. Yeah, it was August 2023 when Dubois he fought with Don Charles, which means they probably did a camp before that. So it's probably 2.5 years. Don Charles has had 2.5 years. And I can't say I've seen any improvements technically. Now they talk sport guys, they say, his mentality has changed. Really hasn't, has it? He quit quicker than ever, if anything. So that you can't even give him that. In the AJ fight, you can't just say, he's changed, he's back, he's better than ever. The Hrgovic fight, the same thing, but the minute he's in any real trouble, he fell apart. So we can't even give Don Charles credit for that. Yeah, he hasn't fixed his mind. It's not like Dubois got up and fought to the end and then got knocked out in round 6, for example, cold. Then you could at least say, Don Charles, the technical element hasn't improved, but Dubois fought to the bitter end, something he's never done before. So you haven't conquered the mindset. Don Charles has not. The technical, listen, you can bring a horse to water, you can't make it drink. I don't think, there's little things you can do. If someone's suggestible, You can kind of get them to do something that might be outside of themselves. But as far listen, Dubois' dad was in the corner, and he still quit. So my thinking is, psychologically speaking, if Dubois' dad can't get his head right, his head's gone, and it will never be there. And either way, Don Charles didn't fix his head. So Don Charles hasn't fixed his head, albeit that's a hard thing to fix, as I've explained. His dad can't fix it. He can't get right himself. The Brazilian brass therapy isn't aiding him none, which we speculate before the fight it might do. The fact he's got a newborn son, that could have aided him, it didn't. So the chances are he's never going to be a guy who comes through a tough fight. Bottom line, based on the evidence we have. So discount the mental things. I'm more interested in, technically, yeah? Assuming you can't help someone's brain, fine. We concede that. Technically, though, the rounds we did observe, even in the... Listen, man, let's not forget. Even in the Hrgović fight, where everyone was sucking him off, yeah? In terms of... He won, he pushed through, it was really hard, and he pushed through. Even in that fight, what happened there? He got hit with so many right hands. I've never seen someone... He made Joe Joyce look like... look like Pernell Whitaker, man. Daniel Dubois in the Hrgović fight made Joe Joyce look like Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker with the head movement. Not even Joe Joyce has been caught that many times with a right hand. Yeah. Dubois got caught with every right hand I've ever seen. Okay. Leaky. Don Charles comes out after that fight. Yep, we won, but it's not how we want to win. We got caught too much. Fine. He then goes into the AJ fight. AJ, good wins cover up your mistakes, which is essentially another... That also applies to Moses Atama at the moment. The fact he's blowing everyone out and around, it makes you look better than potentially you are. But anyway, I've digressed there again. Dubois covers up the mistakes there with the AJ fight. And then we go to the Usyk fight, and again, he's getting hit with everything. He's gappy down the middle. His shot elbows are wide. Yeah? He's kind of hopping out and then just standing there. He's got no defensive frame. He's got no base. Where he knows, alright, I don't have to use my feet. Dubois will step out, bend at the hip. He can't do he's all over. He doesn't have a defensive frame. And for someone like Dubois, the frame should be simple. Yeah, you'd never see Golovkin, for example, disengaging with his hands by his shoulders and then he's dipping at the waist, and then Dubois was doing about 3 things at once. Yeah, you can defend from here. Especially when you're fighting a smaller man, there's no reason you can't just put your chin down and tuck up. Right. And if I was training Dubois, that's what the defence should have been. We're not taking no back steps. Because the thing about Usyk is he's not stupid. Yeah. The minute you start stumbling backwards like Dubois was doing, Usyk's Semelong. His nipples are tingling. He thinks, oh, this big stiff oaf, he's getting it now. You don't want to stumble backwards, ever. I'd argue in a fight. Now, if you're slick enough and you've got enough IQ to kind of bend and roll at the waist and cut an angle and it looks constructive, that's one thing. But Dubois, when he starts backing up, he's like, you can tell, oh, he's ready to go. You know what I mean? He can't, his back leg kicks out. He looks too stiff. So if you're going to be stiff, you might as well be stiff, curled over in your shell, in my opinion. But for Don Charles and all the money he's made and all of his experience, however you cut it, defensively, I saw no improvements. Despite him having a year to fix that from the Hrgović fight. I saw nothing was tight in there. Dubois was doing what he's always done. And you can say, oh, IB, you always talk about chin down, hands up. Okay. It's not as if Don Charles gave Dubois other defensive mechanisms which we can say, okay, his guard was leaky, but he's improved other aspects of his defence, i.e. he looks tidier, moving his feet out. He looks tidier, pivoting. He's got some head movement there, but I never got that though. I don't know why you can't really teach. You can teach footwork, but for a big stiff heavyweight, he's not going to be Jaron Ennis, is he? So that's what I mean. The most easiest thing to do in boxing defensively, bottom line. Everything else requires some IQ and whatever else, like footwork or head movement. That takes real brain power. Putting your hands on your head, yeah. And even Bivol, someone who's considered to have pretty good feet, What was he doing when Beterbiev was chasing him? Stuck right there. Yeah? Stuck right there is... It's not foolproof, but it's the best thing you got if you're not Floyd Mayweather, essentially. If you don't get it, and even then there's a lot of man. Devin Haney was considered to be Floyd Mayweather-esque in terms of his defence. Like, got the shoulder roll, look at him. Oops. He might as well stuck his hands up. Right? Devin Haney's considered to have good feet and meant to have a bit of head movement in there. So even the guys who are smaller and fleet-footed and who have been perceived to be Floyd Mayweather-esque, they're getting popped the same way. How is a big stiff idiot expected to do anything else? But they haven't solved that. I'm sorry, they haven't solved that. Don Charles had one job. That's the truth. Get Dubois to put his head down and curl over into a shell when he's under attack with Usyk. He had one job. Honestly, that was the job he had. I'm not taking no back steps. I'm curling up and I'm walking onto you. I'd rather be on top of Usyk. I don't ever want to be on the end of Usyk shots like that, stumbling backwards, in my opinion, if I was a coach. It's not going to do nothing for me there. I'd rather do what Floyd did against Mosley. I'm walking into you, man, if I'm in trouble. I don't want to be backing up as a big stiff oaf and then Usyk's just taking the piss out of me. He can take the piss out of me, I'm going to be right on top of him, smothering his work as the bigger heavyweight. That's where I want to be. You can say it's easier said than done. Bro, you got knocked out anyway. You might as well have got knocked out walking into him like a zombie, with your hands up and your chin down, and see what happens. Yeah? It's better to be hit on your guard than it is on your head, flush, and that's what was happening. He couldn't miss Usyk, because he's like this. Dubois like this. Like a big stiff horse. Like, honestly, his guard's like that. It's not even that high, actually. It's like down here. Too relaxed. Too relaxed for someone like Usyk. But listen, we knew this before the fight. I said it before the fight. I said I wasn't impressed with Don Charles's training. Does Dubois have some responsibility for not fixing his own guard? But these things, no, the trainer for me. Clearly Dubois, that is his natural stance. But a good trainer. Look at Mike Tyson, for example. Look at what Cus D'Amato did. Now, Cus D'Amato, he was one-dimensional as such as a trainer. He would train all fighters to be the peekaboo. And we can argue the toss whether that was right or wrong, but at least the one thing he taught fighters, you'd have Mike on there doing head movement, peekabooing, and Cus would be saying, your hands are a bit low, or you're picking your head up a bit too much, put your chin down. That is how it needs to be done. Yeah? Tennis ball under your chin, and I'm sticking my hands right on my head. Caballero does this well. Golovkin did it well. Bivol, defensively, does it very well. It's not rocket science. It's really not. It's cliche at this point. Chin down, hands up. But a lot of these men don't know how to do it. AJ. AJ's like this. Put him up. Put him up, put him up. He's fighting like them cats from the 1900s. Put him up, put him up. And listen, the argument is you're relaxed. And listen, Bivol is relaxed. There's a time to be relaxed when you're out of range. When someone's sticking it on you, yeah, it's there, at the very least. And people like Golovkin, for the most part, he'd be kind of like this, and then he'd kind of toggle into his shell. That is it, man. I'm relaxed, or I'm relaxed when I'm punching, and when I'm defending, I'm tucked up. Similar to Canelo. Canelo's probably a bit stiffer than Golovkin, to be fair. Canelo really will just plod on you, catching shots from here, and a bit of head movement a few years ago. But he will. I mean, I don't see a reason why not, to be fair. Yeah, because clearly Canelo has better IQ than Dubois. So I don't see if Canelo can make it work from here. I don't see why Dubois can't make it work from there. That has to be the base for him. And Don Charles, disregard what I'm saying, but Don Charles had 2.5 years, and Dubois has got really nothing to show for it. Yes, but again, okay, the AJ fight, the Hrgovic fight. The Hrgovic fight was bad from a coach's point of view. The win as a coach is not really relevant. It helps, it kind of, again, it covers up bad situations, but as a coach I'd have been saying that, and he said himself he can't have that again, and he had it again. Exactly the same. Dubois looked the same in every fight. Just so happens he caught AJ early. And if AJ had done a little bit more, or caught, it could have gone the other way, for example, in another time realm. If AJ had bowled his hand over and he actually caught Dubois properly, it could have gone the other way, and we'd all be saying, oh, Dubois got caught again with a right hand that we knew about. So history is kind of written by the victor and covers things up, but ultimately, that Usyk fight, you've had 2.5 years to prepare for it, and you've made no. I can't honestly. For all the people saying, "Oh, it was the best fit ever," I can't think of one. Honest, I'm not even being horrible. Genuinely, put in the comments what improvements have you seen in Dubois. Go on, what improvements have you seen? Technically speaking, I can't name one. Now, we're not in their camp. Maybe they'd tell you other things. Oh, we did it. I can't. I'd tell you though, right? If I saw something there, I see something. If I saw something like Mikey Garcia did with Errol Spence, I'd tell you that. If I saw Don Charles had done something, I'd say. We've had trainings before. I'm trying to think of examples. I guess you'd argue Sugar Hill and Tyson Fury. Yeah. Fury was faffing around in the first Wilder fight. He gets with Sugar Hill for the second Wilder fight, and his style categorically completely changed. And he started trying to be a wrecking ball. So you can say, fair play to Sugar Hill. He's come in and made, rightly or wrongly, he's made a change. I can't sit here and tell you what change Don Charles has made. End of the day. Yeah, can't tell you one, unfortunately. And even in that Sugar Hill, in Wilder 3, Sugar Hill says, get on the jab. No, listen, Fury was fighting Wilder. But nonetheless, there's been points where he's come through clutch. I'm not sure Dubois is able to receive information. But either way, again, even in the fights, I can't remember hearing something from Don Charles in the corners during a fight where it's made a change. He said this and Dubois done it. Again, I'm not sure Dubois would be able to listen anyway. Yeah, you'd have to draw it in. If someone like Dubois, you have to write it in crayon, pink crayon, and it registers with his brains. You can't. He's spurging out. You can't speak instructions to him. You need a big crayon and a drawing pad. That's what you need to get through to him, man. With Peppa Pig on in the background type shit, man. That's what you need. You have to speak to him through shape blocks. You have to. That's nuts. But yeah. It was well expected. I don't know what everyone's wowing for. Ade, wow, you lose to one of the greatest. No. Makes you wonder. People say, oh, IB, you don't know what you're talking about. Alright then. Oh, you don't know, oh, IB this, woo. But why is everyone wowing for? It's not like. Where are these accolades? Okay, he won the heavyweight world title. Not from. Listen, in my opinion, that Dubois is the same Dubois we've ever seen. If he can whack you and hurt you, like he did with AJ, he looks great. There was nothing Don Charles did in there, in my opinion, that made the difference. Dubois came in there like he normally does, and he whacked AJ hard. He would, if he whacked anyone hard, if he'd have whacked Usyk hard in round 1 or 2, and Usyk was on skates, Dubois would have looked great. You can go back 5 years and say the same thing. There's no improvement. There's no improvement at all. I think actually, on hindsight, the best I can do for Don Charles is to say that, thinking about it now, he was a bit more aggressive. In the first Usyk fight, he was much more defensive, which enabled him to continue for longer. He was kind of trying until he wasn't actually. His aggression's improved, but arguably as a trainer, you need effective aggression. Right? So it's almost the worst of both worlds. If you're not going to give someone the tools to pressure someone safely, think about Caballero right now in the heavyweight division. Chin down, hands up, little bit of head movement. If you're not pressuring the right way, you've actually done your fighter a disservice. You've got him running forward and being buck wild from a base like this. Hence why the fight went so early. He pushed more, leaky deaky. He's knocked out by a cruiserweight who can't punch. Yeah, so Don Charles is really... he's done a bad job for Dubois. He's done worse than the first fight, end of the day. Although, listen, I preferred him to get to jack early and get hit a few times properly than that first fight was woeful. So that's my preference, though. But in terms of the actual finishing result, the history books will say Dubois did better in the first fight. Even though I think he was more competitive in the second fight. Dubois didn't win a round in that first fight at all. The second one, I had it 50-50 up to 4, honestly. It was close rounds until it wasn't. So that is the little bit of saving grace, but it's not enough at this level. It's not enough to be... Honestly, I'm trying to think. Who couldn't have trained Dubois to get in there and be leaky and have a go? You know what I mean? It's not really the $1 million trainer level I'm seeing. I'm not seeing no edge. I'm not seeing where's the value added from Don. I haven't observed it. And these cats, and listen, what's his name? Duke McKenzie. I think he's been an undisputed champion before, so he knows more than me. But I'm surprised he's not telling me what. They didn't explain what he's done so well. There's this outrage of, how are you gonna sack? How are you gonna sack Don Charles? But no one's saying why it's a big problem. As a fighter, Dubois is young enough. People critiqued, I certainly did. I critiqued AJ for staying with Rob McCrappen for so long. Yeah, it's no good hanging around somewhere too long. And it's not as if Dubois had one trainer for his whole life, and it's kind of like that's what AJ had. So it was a bit more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Do you know what I mean? Like Rob McCrappen was really that guy for AJ, so it was more of a break. But Dubois' been hopping around anyway. So for a fighter who's been hopping around, if it's not 10 out of 10 and or there's barely any improvements, why not at 28? Yeah? You've had 2.5 years and there's no discernible improvements. What, are you going to hang around for another 2.5 years? I don't see the upside of that. Now, again, I'm not sure how coachable Dubois is, but he needs someone to at least add something to his game. Yeah? And there's other trainers. Look at Derek James, for example, with AJ. Derek James, AJ didn't have the ferocity, but you can watch Derek James in that. What did he train AJ for? But AJ came in for a Derek James fight. I forgot who it was, and his chin was down. Looked like he had good fundamentals. He was lacking the spite. He was lacking the confidence, but he did look like his fundamentals were put well together. So you have to say fair play to Derek James. He's added something, rightly or wrongly. I can't do that for Don Charles, so it was time to go. Now I'm not, and again, I'm not sure it's going to make much difference. I don't know how coachable Dubois. I'm not sure Dubois. He's big and strong and stiff. Yeah, I'm not sure how coachable he is. I'm not sure he really understands what he's doing outside of his natural reactions. But who knows? Let's see what happens. Anyway, folks, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button. And before I get out of here, we got another leaked Patreon video for the masses. It's titled Dillian White. Was Dillian White spiked by the Mossad? And is Moses the Kabbalah prophet? We got some crazy bars. Here's a clip from it. Bosh. I told you. No one else told you these bars here. I told the masses. The great and washed. I said, they're bringing the Pope in for Dillian White's last rites. This is a Kabbalistic, ritualistic sacrifice. Yeah, that's what it was. And it's almost like he's going to the gallows, isn't it? Look, his head's down, his eyes are spinning. He can't believe he's here, look. Alright folks, so click the link on my bindi right now, man, and put me on. Over 200 videos, and for the price of a cup of coffee, man. Whoop-de-whoop. Bosh.